What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com. Let's talk a little Thursday night football between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. As always, everything we do, absolutely free. Really do appreciate if you hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a thumbs up and then let us know in the comment section how you guys are going to be playing this one here on a Thursday night. So as you see right now, 3.5. There is a 4 at MGM if you did want to take the Patriots, but pretty much 3.5 across the board total in that 43.5 range in this one. I'll scroll down and let you kind of look at what's going on from a weather perspective, from an injury report perspective, and really what we've got here. The big one is Von Miller being out on the Bills side of things. Von Miller going to miss a few weeks, not season ending, they're saying, but is going to miss a few weeks for this team. And of course, that's big news, right? I mean, Von Miller's Von Miller. He creates all kinds of problems. And so Deion Dawkins, also offensive tackle, going to be out in this one for the Bills. That is never good to lose an offensive lineman. Over on the New England side of things, you can see a bunch of guys listed as questionable. That's just what Bill Belichick does. So we shall see how everything plays out whenever we get the official actives and inactives 90 minutes before game time. Damian Harris has at least been already ruled out, but you can see could be without a center, could be without a couple of corners here. That is certainly super interesting. Bills offense versus the Patriots defense. And really what this comes down to, guys, is Josh Allen has been, this offense has been fine. It's just Josh Allen has had some like really bad red zone turnovers of late. And I mean, that's really the only problem that we've got with this Buffalo team. It's not moving the ball between the 20s, right? I mean, like if we look at the advanced statistics of what we're getting in this Buffalo offense, it is a top 10 offense by nearly every single metric that we look at. You know, DVOA, PFF, if you look at their offensive EPA, they're second overall in the NFL. You look at their offensive success rate, they're number 1 overall in the NFL, number 2 in yards per play, number 1 in early down success. Again, it's not so much moving the ball. It's just Josh Allen of late has had some rough goes at it once he's gotten close to the end zone. I mean, they're 19th in red zone offensive efficiency as far as scoring touchdowns in the NFL. So you have all these awesome things that they do until they get in the red zone, and then you have a team in the Buffalo Bills, of all teams, right, that's 19th as far as red zone touchdown percentage. So it's fairly simple. I mean, like they're going to move the ball. It's just, do they capitalize on it? And, you know, look, this Patriots defense, I think what we saw last week is at least a little bit more indicative. Yes, they have super great, awesome stats. Certainly the flat stats, and even if you look at the advanced stats, they're still pretty good, right? But that being said, what you also find is a bunch of really weak opponents, specifically weak quarterbacks that they've been playing. Then you get last week where you get at least a team with a pulse, and the Vikings were able to move the ball pretty well against this Patriots team. So I expect more of what we saw last week than what we saw throughout the course of the beginning of the season with this squad. So not saying that Josh Allen and them are going to do whatever they want to. They're not going to be able to move at will or anything like that. But I do believe that we're going to see much more what we saw in the Vikings game than what we've seen against Zach Wilson and the Jets and things like that, right? You can just look down the Patriots schedule and you can see they have been, and you can only play who's been put in front of you. This is not one of those things where I'm, saying the Patriots suck or anything like that on a defensive standpoint. They're not, they're good. And certainly they're super well coached. But again, you do have to kind of look at this row of teams that they played and start to understand, like, so before the Vikings game, it was Jets, Colts, Jets, Bears, Browns, Lions. I mean, you can certainly boost your stats over the course of a season whenever you play that type of schedule, right? Had a game against the Steelers, had a game against the Packers. We know Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have not played well all year. So again, I think we see much more of the game in which, the Vikings score 33 against them. I think we see more of the Bills up in the, mid to high 20s in this game, as opposed to some of these other games with these really bad quarterbacks. Patriots offense, not been great. Looked much better last week. They allowed Mac Jones to throw the ball a lot more. He cut it out. He cut it loose. And I think cutting it loose kind of helped him out a little bit, certainly from a confidence perspective. So you can kind of look at these season-long stats and you can say like, man, they're really bad pretty much everywhere. And maybe so, but I think that they might be going after a little bit of a different offensive philosophy when we get going in this one. So again, that one to me, I think they're going to have a little bit more success actually moving the ball with the offensive philosophy that we saw last week. And again, with the Bills down a couple of key guys there on the defensive side of the ball. This is Eli over here on the site. You can read kind of what he is looking at here and what he kind of thinks. As far as I am going here, guys, pretty simple. You have to ask yourself, has this moved too much, right? Like, where is the line that you're going to draw in the sand and say, okay, this is now moved too much? We are talking about a line that opened at 6, right? I mean, this was 6 in favor of the Bills. And look, that was too much. Like, I missed that number. I would have even played the Patriots. And I don't like the Patriots at all. So this thing opened pretty much too high. Instantly got to 5.5. I mean, the 6s were there for seconds. 5.5. The public the bettors decided it was too much. 5 was too much. 4.5, 4. Now here we sit at 3.5. Now, have we had too much of an adjustment because Von Miller isn't out there, because there was supposedly like a little bit of an illness going through the locker room there for the Bills? Let's remember, even though this game's on a Thursday, this isn't a short week game for either one of these teams. They both played on Thanksgiving. So it's, full week of preparation for this. I think if this were nothing to my account, but if this thing got really wacky and got to the flat 3 and I was able to get the flat 3 on the Bills, then that's just, I'm playing that on principle. The Bills are the better team. It's, at pretty much every level. And, if people decide that that's just way too much, I will come in and I will play the Bills at 3. So we'll see how that goes before kickoff. Really, the only play I like here is the total, and I like there to be points in this game. I like there to be an over. Like I said, Bills are going to move the ball. The Bills against Bill Belichick, and look, I understand things can change on a dime, and maybe, this is the year. This is the year that Bill Belichick realizes how to stop this team. So outside of just that horrible weather game, you all remember that horrible weather game. Outside of that, the Bills have beaten the Patriots by 30, 12, 20, and 29 over in 3 of their last 4 meetings. So it's a situation where this team has just gone out and despite it being a Bill Belichick coach team, has been able to have tons of success. And so I'm looking more in that direction than I would anything else. But look, I think that with the way that the situation is from a defensive perspective for the Bills right now, a little bit banged up. If we see a little bit more of the Bills team that we saw last week, where they again allowed some plays to happen down the field, I think they can put some points on the board as well. So I actually like an overlook here. Of course, at the 43.5, let's get on that. 44, kind of a key-ish number, as we know, when it comes to totals. So we certainly want to be playing. If we're looking to play over, we certainly want to be over on the 43.5. From a prop perspective, just one. And look, I cannot imagine a scenario in which Josh Allen, good or bad, right, no matter how this game is going, isn't a big part of the rush game. If they get down, he's still going to be dropping back a ton and just taking off and trying to make things happen with his legs. And Josh Allen, just the way that he plays in general is just super crazy, super kind of balls to the wall type stuff. So the over on the 42.5, especially considering we're getting much less juice here on this. I mean, if this happens to get juicy by the time you watch this, and if it is 43.5, I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world if you just play the over on the 43.5. But Josh Allen's going to run a ton, not only from a scramble perspective, but some design runs and things like that as well. Going to be a big part of the success here of this Bills squad today. From a same game parlay, look, there's a couple of different ways. If we want to make it super simple and you get over 4.5 to 1, would be the Bills, just that alt spread, bringing it down to under a field goal, because as we know, that key number of 3 is so important. Josh Allen over the rushing yards. I took the over 44.5 just to get a little bit better number here instead of the 42.5 that I showed you as far as listed prop. And then Josh Allen anytime touchdown score, him calling his name, his own number there inside the red zone, and gets us to 450 in this one. Now, if you wanted to just add in a passing prop and just say of the lowest of the low that he's going to go over 230 in this game, which I think he's probably closer to this. I think he's probably closer to 280. You can just add that in, and it takes that all the way up to 7-1. So I mean, he just has an average day for him throwing the ball, and that takes that all the way up to 7-1. So again, other ways to kind of spice the same game parlay up, but you can get kind of just the basic pieces here of a successful game for the Bills. And then you can kind of, mess around with it there. But, Bills by 3, Josh Allen gets his rush yards. He gets into the end zone, has a decent day throwing the ball, just 230, stuff like that. I mean, there's certainly ways to go about that and start to kind of spice this up. And again, if you want to do if you did take the Josh Allen out of there, I mean, even something like this, which is just a super, super basic, Bills have a decent day here, that's still over 2.5-1. So you can get some interesting different ways to get some same game parlays in your account. Guys, over here, everything we do absolutely free. Be sure and read Eli's article, see what he has to say about everything. Get into the Discord up here, upper right hand corner. Everyone's going to be chatting about this game all day long, so see if anybody has some other insights in all of this, and good luck here on your Thursday Night Football bets.